Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Menopause Matter. My name is Martha Mock. I'm your host today. We're here to gather different information, different expertise to help you to overcome the challenges of menopause. I understand as a woman over 40, we are facing many challenges, but menopause seems to be one of them that we know very little about because our body is different to every single other person. I have arranged a bunch of experts in their field to share with us their specialty and their expertise in helping us to go through this menopause period. So today I have Jana Barrett here. Hi, Jana. So happy for you to come on our show today.
Thank you so much for having me, Martha. It's very kind of you.
Please tell us a little bit more about you.
So my name is Jana Barrett and I live in New Zealand. I am foremost a mother of 3 children, and what I love doing is I help women over 40 who are generally broken, burnt out, or bored by exercise to transition into training that is more aligned to their bodies and the stage of life they are in, so they can live their life to the fullest and look forward to the second half of their lives doing the things they love.
Oh, I love what you just said. Burnout, tired, don't know what exercise to do. Like, I'm not a heavy exercise person, and I understand that as soon as that we hit the word exercise, really, I have to do that. I try to avoid it with every single bit in there. But I know that by moving my body, my circulation will be better. Things will be better for us. So let's start from talking about the topic of the day that we have. What are some of the 3 types of exercise that every woman must do in the perimenopause or the menopause seasons?
That's a great question. Thank you for that. So I have been coaching women for over 10 years now. And also, I am a woman in midlife. I'm just about to turn 47. So I have spent the last 10 years experimenting on myself and on hundreds of women in what training we need to do. I also delved really deeply into the latest research that was actually done on women and the health of women. I don't want to say women's health. I want to say health of all women. So the 3 types I boiled it down to what is the most potent forms of exercise, and also that doesn't take a lot of time, because I understand women over 40 are busy people. We're often juggling family, we're juggling work, community work, our households, hobbies, friends, like the list is literally never ending. So as you said, exercise just becomes sometimes just another thing women have to fit in. So I'm all about exercising in a way that's enjoyable and fast. And so the number one type of exercise that I would recommend, and the one that I think is the most important, is mobility training. So
Mm.
some people look at this as stretching, but it's more a dynamic movement. So you are basically just moving your joints. Like if I was to demonstrate to do a neck mobility exercises, it's really simple movements like this that are basically getting the tension out of your body. They're restoring the full range of motion, removing stiffness, tightness, aches, pains, and prevent injuries or rehabilitate injuries. The beautiful thing about mobility is it's extremely effective, and you only have to do 10 minutes a day. But
That sounds acceptable.
it's acceptable. I think that if you cannot find 10 minutes a day to do something that is going to really significantly improve the way you feel and the way you move, then there is probably something a little bit wrong with your priority list. So yeah, it's just 10 minutes, but really the key is the consistency here. So yes, it's only 10 minutes, but you should really be doing it ideally every single day. So that's number one. Number 2 is strength training. And now when we say strength training, many women imagine weightlifting in gyms. It doesn't have to be that. If that's what, a lot of women really enjoy, that they enjoy their kind of slightly masculine environment of gyms, or maybe their gyms is a bit more woman friendly. It doesn't have to be weights and lifting barbells and dumbbells. Strength training could be body weight. It could be using a variety of different tools like kettlebells, or, I work with the steel mace. It could mean just some squats and push-ups and other, mobility and kind of body weight exercises that you can just do from home. So that's strength training. And there's a lot of research going into strength training women. And what we really have to think about is, as we are aging, preserving our muscle mass and our bone density. Those are the two main things that you really need to pay attention to. And I think that what I really love about the recent years in the fitness industry is that we are now starting to significantly switch the focus from exercising as a form of weight loss to exercising to ensure our longevity and quality of life. Because if you lose your muscle mass, and we start losing it at the age of 30, and then this process kind of accelerates in menopause, then you're going to become a frail old woman who is, whose life is going to be very difficult, because very simple tasks like carrying your groceries, sitting down on a chair and getting up, walking up and down the stairs is going to become difficult. And we all know that osteoporosis is a very real threat for women, because 1 in 3 women over the age of 50 will have a fracture due to either osteopenia or osteoporosis. So that's 50, which is quite young. And often, as women are aging, if you break a hip at the age of 60, 65, the outcomes are horrendous, usually death within the 5 years after fracture. And then hardly any people will kind of gain the functionality in their body that they have before fracture. So that is something that we really need to pay attention. And strength training is a magnificent way to, keep your bones strong, to keep your muscles strong and lean. It will also prevent weight gain that women often suffer from in menopause. But now, there's a lot of research going into muscles being a very potent organ that secretes enzymes and hormones that are incredibly beneficial for our brain health as well. So it's not just exercising for the muscles, it's actually exercising for the health of your whole body. So there's number 1, so mobility, strength training. And then number 3 is walking, just simple walking, which obviously it's amazing for mental health and de-stressing and bit of a, reconnection with our bodies, and especially if we are walking in nature. But walking is also extremely beneficial for what's called, if I use a little bit of fitness jargon, the type 2 muscle, which is the slow twitch muscle. So they're the muscles in your body that are responsible for endurance. So if you need to walk for 7 kilometers or 10 kilometers, that is the muscle that's working. It's also the muscles that are keeping us upright, so postural muscles. So they are the muscles that are working all the time. And so strength training is promoting the kind of the fast twitch fibers, the muscles that are, kind of doing work on demand when you tell them to do. But then the slow twitch fibers, the muscles, are for walking. And so those are really important to condition as well. So these are really the 3 types of exercise everybody should be doing. And I know it's probably a lot, and women are kind of thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to fit it all in? But remember, this doesn't need to be long walks. You only have to walk 3-4 times a week for 30 minutes to get a real benefit. You only have to strength train 2 to 3 times for 20-30 minutes a week, and that's enough. Mobility is really the only one that you should be doing more often, ideally every single day, but it's only 10 minutes. So the time spent, and when you really think about the investment of your time and energy, and sometimes, financial resources into exercise, it's like putting money in the bank for retirement. And that's what I often tell women over 40. Think about exercise as making little deposits into your longevity account. So then when you get to your 50s or 60s and 70s, you can be withdrawing on all the good work. just like we are saving for our retirement, we're putting away just a little bit every single month or every single week. That's what you need to be thinking of when you are exercising. You are actually just making deposits into your health, well-being, and incredible life as you are aging.
That is such a wise advice. Like the 3 tips that it sounds overwhelming at first, but when you break it down, it's actually not as bad. It is, especially with the session about mobility. I would love to do a quick workshop with you in the future, like to go through with the women in our group how to do those 10 minutes activity. Because like 10 minutes, I think I can spare. Anything else, okay, I'll try my best into it. But if that's the one thing we start on now, it's like what you just mentioned, that is putting that deposit into it. I really feel it. I had a 16-hour wedding this Saturday. I'm a professional makeup artist, so I was with my client for the full day. I think when I was standing for about two and a half hours, I have to remind myself to bend my knees, and I have trouble going down now. And I'm like, oh my God, my knee is actually locked in a one place by standing in one position for so long. I lost that mobility. And I'm like, okay, I need to remind myself just to bend a little bit so I can have my knee working and supporting myself. I'm not a small girl, so my knees does takes a lot. So how do I actually get that mobility up and moving it around? I would love to do a little workshop with you. So yeah, Jana, I'm definitely bringing you back on Knowledge is Power Thursday, and let's do a mobility exercise together. So with our group of people, so people can go back into it and get that resources coming. That will be amazing if you can do that.
I'd love to do that. I'm madly passionate about mobility, and because I think what often people blame their aches and lack of mobility on is aging. But I would
Yeah.
really love to bust that myth. It's not aging. It's about the lack of mobility training that you are doing, and it's about not investing into preserving your body's ability to move freely and pain-free. So age has really nothing to do with it. I mean, the other day I surfed with a 75-year-old who was popping up on a board with no problem at all. You can move incredibly well regardless of your age. So that's a bit of a myth that I think sometimes people kind of use as a little bit of an excuse. I'm just
Yeah.
getting old. I'm just getting old. No, you're not. You are. We can't, there will be a certain physiological decline as we are
Yeah.
aging, but it doesn't have to mean that you need to live in pain and no longer be able to do things that either you love in terms of sports and physical activities, or do the basic things like, I coach many clients who can't get comfortably on and off the floor.
Mm.
That's not great,
Mm.
because your life will become reasonably limited. And if you can't get
Yeah.
out of a car, that means that you won't be able to drive anywhere. You will lose your independence. If you no longer can clean your house or carry your groceries into your home, you are losing independence. And that's something that I don't want for anyone, especially women.
I hear you, because like we're already battle all the symptoms of menopause, hot flushes, brain fog, our body is starting to change, and like we're having unwanted fat here and there, and then plus losing our mobility. That is such a big shock, because I lost the functional mobility of my arm about 2 years ago, and I have such a huge issue to the point that I cannot even reach my back to undo my bra. So I was in such a low mental state that I feel like I was completely useless because I couldn't take care of myself. And a lot of us that who are still like looking after the family, we're still doing dishes, we're still doing cooking. And then at the end of the night, I just want to take my bra off, and I could not. And that hit me so hard. And I starting to value that maybe mobility and somewhat exercise and training is what I need, not only to combat the trouble of menopause, but also to keep my mind at a good mental state so I can be this independent, high value woman that we are.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you hit it on the nail, because I think that once women get into that chronic or very frequent pain,
Mm,
often depression will come with that, because it's you know, like, and I have had injuries in the past as well, and it's, you don't feel good, like if you
yeah,
can't move well and you don't feel well, it's, your mental health will deteriorate with that. So I hear you. Yeah, you probably had like a frozen shoulder, which is
yeah.
incredible in women in midlife. Yeah, and a lot of it is due to hormones and
Mm,
inflammation that we naturally get.
mm,
But you know, when you think about how the shoulders are functioning, it is usually a mechanical issue, which is stemming from either lack of strength, and especially upper body strength for women, because we don't have as much as like men do. So we
mm,
need to really cultivate. And you know, I'm not saying that you have to go and deadlift one and a
mm.
half times your body weight, or you have to, you know, like go to CrossFit classes and
Yeah,
you don't have to do anything crazy.
yeah,
But I think all women should maintain a very basic level of strength that, you know,
yeah.
you can, you know, I had a client who was 60 years old, and she didn't have enough strength to pick up her grandchild who was 8 months old out of a cot.
Mm,
And now, so you don't have to be able to lift
mm,
kilos, but you should be able to lift an 8 months old baby out of a cot at the age of 60.
mm. That is something that we wanted to ensure we can prolong that. We can prolong our body so we can actually enjoy the rest of our life into it. Because yes, we do live longer now than before with all the health and all the exercise tip that we have. Like I was listening to a guest speaker not long ago. She said, like normally, like back in the day, women die before their 40s because of all the health conditions that they have, and they don't live that long. But look at us now, we're going into our 60s, 70s, 80s or longer, that we are living longer. So it's a choice that we have to make. And don't blame on things that just like a menopause is one thing, but it is also an excuse that we use a lot to not move, to like you said, age. I'm too old for this. Like it is an excuse that we actually like to use. So when we accept that and say, hey, there is a different way, we can stop protecting ourselves and telling ourselves we're not good enough to do it just because we are older. And I think it is a wonderful message to share to everyone, all the women over 40, that we are not useless. We are still able to move. We can still get our body better, and we can get our strength back. And like I did, like with my arm, I actually got my strength back, and I started to do some stretching exercise, starting to do all of that. Finally, I can take care of myself again, because it was a big hit for me for 2 years. And now that I look back into it, it's like, oh, that was what happening. That was actually what was actually going for me. At the time, I think I was too busy focusing on other people's well-being and other people's things than comparing to myself. And I think a lot of us are guilty of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It is, yeah. And it's hard because I was in that boat as well. I was a mum of three children, full-time mum for 10 years, and I put myself at the bottom of the pile.
Mm,
And then suddenly I had sore back all the time and I was miserable, and exercise really got me out of it. And now I really prioritize that time. And I know that some women can't, the single moms,
yeah.
there's a lot of different circumstances. So I think what I would suggest to women, have compassion with yourself and see what is actually doable for you. Like, yeah, I am telling you, hey, you should be doing 10 minutes of mobility every day, and you should be doing 3 strength training sessions of 20
Mm,
minutes, and you should be walking. For some women, that's not, that's not available. They just don't have the time, or they don't have a supportive partner. But
mm,
you need to start somewhere, because the alternative, it's not great. And
mm,
let's not forget that exercise is not only great for our physical well-being. It's also incredible for our mental health and our emotional health, because when women feel strong physically, they also feel strong mentally. You know, when you feel powerful because you are exercising your body, you have confidence in your body, that will have an incredible effect on your family, your work, your friends. Like, and women are, you know, we're kind of the glue in communities, and being a strong, confident, powerful woman, because you are cultivating your physical health and your strength, it's incredibly potent and really needed in the world. So, you know, if you're really not going to do it for yourself, then maybe do it for your kids, maybe do
Yeah.
it for your grandchildren, which are maybe only, you know, maybe they are 10, 20 years down the line, but think about the, you know, a mum that is healthy and strong and full of energy is a true gift to everyone, and especially her children. Whereas if you are in chronic pain and you can't go for a bike ride with your children because you just don't have the fitness, or you can't you know, play with them on the ground because you no longer have the mobility in your hips to get on and off the ground, that's kind of surviving rather than living. And I would like all women to just live their lives to the fullest and never miss out on any adventures with their children or grandchildren or friends or anyone.
That will be amazing. Thank you so much for your time today in sharing all of that and inspiration to us. And yes, I look forward to having you come back to do a mobility workshop with us. But in the meantime, you have a freebie for us. Please tell us a bit more about that.
So if you want to start with mobility training, because sometimes people don't really understand the difference between mobility training and yoga and stretching and
Mm.
rolling and all that. So I have a free 6-day mobility challenge, which is exactly what I said, 10-minute videos. You get 6 10-minute videos, and you will get literally in every single nook and cranny of your body. You can do it from home. You can literally roll out of bed and still be in your PJs. You don't need much space. It's all free. And then you can start with mobility and see the incredibly the potency of mobility and how it will make you feel and how it will make you move.
That will be amazing. I look forward to be seeing that. So thank you once again for helping us today and sharing your expertise. Anyone who would like to reach Jana here, feel free to have a look at the show note on the below. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week on Menopause Matters series. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, Martha.